you so much. And for those that are staying, just stay put and we'll go right into the lessons learned. We'll see you next month. So, Glennis,
Let's
what's
see
some of
who's
the things you
staying.
wanted to talk about?
Mhm. Who's staying?
Just the cool kids.
Just the cool kids. Good.
Okay.
All right. Hi, everybody. What's going on?
Can't see you.
Can't see me?
Nope.
Oh,
Your video isn't on.
sorry.
Here she is.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have all those beautiful things you guys have on your screens that make me look good.
Oh my God.
Um, this
Lighting and
is
makeup. Yeah.
This is one of my favorite sessions right here is the lessons learned because we learn from each other. And there's a lot going on right now with funding. Who's aware of everything that's going on with funding? Is that a no?
We don't know, but we know that it's affected a lot of people, unfortunately. They talked about PI2 funds, and when Kevin and I were early operators, I mean, we always had the PA2 funds, but then they started putting us into something else because PA2 funds were running out and they didn't know how long it was going to be there. And so it sounds like that's still pretty much the case.
So I think it's so important for us to keep an eye on and keep a community watch on what's happening within our own communities and statewide as well. I mean, that's a little hard for some to be able to do that, but it's really important for us as providers of recovery housing and treatment or anything that has to do with SUD that we know what's happening around us. Do all of you know where to seek funding within your own communities? And has any of you had any cuts? Can you raise your hand if you've had cuts? Okay. Anybody else? I only have one.
Yeah.
Well, I only have one that's got their face too. No, I don't have anybody but one person with their face on here. Hey, let me see you guys. Let me see. Lisa, I know you can get on there. And I think Lisa did speak to the fact about funding. And who's this that just got on? Who's 12692?
I don't know. He's undercover.
Huh.
David. My name
Oh,
is
David.
hi,
David.
David.
Hi, how are you
Hi.
doing?
What community are you in?
David's Hope in Battle Creek.
So
Uh-huh.
David's a new operator.
Okay. How many homes?
Were you two?
Two? And how are you funded?
We are self-funded right now by the gentlemen that stay in our homes. So they pay us a program fee.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been open?
Um, Probably close to 2 years we've been open, but we just got um Mar came down last month so that we just became on board. We're a new member of Mar.
Mm-hmm. So that will open some doors for you a little bit to get other funding from like the PIHPs out there.
Correct.
For now, until we find out what's going on with PIHPs. But that's kind of what I think we should probably be discussing today too, is who's affected by this and what's the fear factor out there for everybody. Because I know I have my own fears with it because I'm part-time run a recovery housing unit, and I know that it's going to come down, it's going to be hard on us. And the Medicaid clients are going to be even more hard. So I'm wondering with you guys, if you could speak up a little bit about where you're at with the funding for your recovery housing. How are all the cuts affecting you, if any? If we could just start and have everybody give us some feedback on that, on what you're experiencing.
Hey, do you want to share what's going on with the funding? Are you guys affected with the funding cuts? You're muted.
Okay. I was trying to find the right button. It moved on me. The I guess I'm not aware of all of it that's going on, but I know what was directly affected for my position as manager was the staffing grants that we had. We no longer get,
Yeah.
and I know there's other cuts and everything like that, but that's the only one that I know of specifically. I know there's going to be, changes with the Medicaid and all that, but yeah, that's all. I'm sure there's other things, but that's like above my pay grade, I guess.
And that, that is one of the things that we've talked about at MAR too, is how much each person knows in their own, because like you, Kate, there's a hierarchy up there that manages all those things, and you're probably seeing some of your colleagues get laid off or switch to other positions, or because of how hard it is to like shift funding that quickly and go fee for service, because what they did is they turned everything into fee for service and took away our block grant dollars for that we were, so that makes it very difficult. But you probably don't know what's really happening within the system in the state, because you're working at a different level. So I kind of want to get an idea on where everybody's at with that. So I thank you for sharing that. What's your position, Kate?
I'm manager of, for Catholic Social Services. I manage right now, I'm covering 2 women's recovery houses, one in Escanaba, Michigan, and one in Menominee, Michigan.
Mhm.
I'm actually doing interviews tomorrow to fill the Menominee house position, as I've been traveling back and forth doing both of them.
Yeah.
But that's why I stayed on for this, just to learn a little bit more. I guess I just, something in the regular meeting kind of prompted me to just, I had a few questions. I mean, it's not related to funding right now, so I can wait. But
No, go right ahead.
no, well, so when I think it was, I wanted to ask Lisa when she was talking about meetings and stuff like that. I'm having some issues at the Menominee house. The recovery community isn't very big there. It's more of a rural area. Not to say there isn't any meetings, but, and a lot of them aren't within walking distance. So the previous manager had allowed them to do just strictly online meetings. And I tried to get them to step out of their comfort zone to go to in-person meetings, because I believe that that is important. It was important for me in my recovery. And I was met with hesitancy and reluctancy. And I guess in our policy, it doesn't state what kind of meetings, right? Everybody's recovery is different. So if you do feel like you are part of the online community, I guess, I mean, I just, does anybody is that okay? Is that I don't know where, I know I can't tell anybody you have to do this, but I guess.
No, you can. Yeah, you can. I mean,
And maybe they could do one online meeting a week,
Yeah.
and then the others, they have to look for it in the community. I mean, we want to
And
integrate them back into the community. That's what it's about.
Right, and
Yeah.
that's how I do it at the Hosanna house. Is I will count one online meeting
mhm.
and church together as one, but
There should be an in-house meeting too, at least one.
we do have
in-house
it.
meeting. Yep,
Yes,
that counts as
yep.
one.
Yep.
One of the
Yeah, so it's just frustrating because
yeah.
I know everybody's recovery is different, but it'd be different maybe if they were doing say a Buddhist path or something where those resources weren't available in the community. But they're doing 12-step meetings online, so there's no reason.
No,
didn't know.
Kate, in my opinion, I've been running recovery housing for many, many, many years. And in my opinion, they need to get out of the house and go to meetings. I mean, um, and you can have them do that. That can be a house policy, a house practice. And one of the things, but I've been in your shoes before where you've got a group of people in there who all like, no, we want to do this, no, we want to do this. And in order to change things, you have to just change it. And the new people coming in won't know the difference. So as those people leave, your practice becomes out in the community. And it doesn't matter, like you said, I don't care if it's what meeting, what recovery meeting you go to, just as long as you're going to one and you have either recovery coaches, doesn't even have to be a sponsor. It can be somebody who's another recovering person who is your mentor or, recovery coach or whatever the case may be. But that is important to have some recovery pathway that's not within your home. Catherine's right. Have one day where they can do it if they want to do it then. But, you know, you know how everything when COVID was there and everybody was working from home and COVID was over, nobody wanted to go back to work. Like everybody liked working at home. But eventually we all got to get out of the house and go back to work and go to our recovery and do the things that we need to do. So you can, and it will change. If you do it now, the people that come in, they'll never know the difference. So they
You
will.
read my mind exactly. That was kind of my thought process on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Um,
You're going to make some women mad, and that's okay. If they
well,
get mad, there's
that
other
happens every
places
day.
there's other places they can go. I mean,
Yeah, well, here's for Glennis, and maybe you've outgrown our program. Congratulations, you've graduated.
yes, that's the way I
Maybe
do
it's
it.
time for you to move on.
Yeah.
Because there's
Yeah.
somebody that wants your bed that will go to the meetings and
Yeah.
outside of the home and because they want to move forward. So thank you for moving forward and letting
Yeah.
somebody else have your bed.
Yeah, it's not like we got to say you got to go get out. It's like, oh, you don't need us anymore. Then I understand. We were your support system, but now you have your own ideas, and that's okay. So now it's time for you to
Yep.
find yourself a place to move to, and we're always here for you. You know what I mean? It's just that simple. But the
They
show
might
has to
change
go
their mind
on, and
really quick.
yeah, the show has to go on, and you don't run the place. I mean, you don't got to say that, but that's the facts. We had a
Right.
guy one time working that was in our program, a man, and he was a social worker, and he came in 6 or 7 times, I can't remember. And well, he was there so many times that it was the last time I was going to allow him back there because I thought maybe we're just not working for him. You know what I mean? I'm going to help him find somewhere else. But he's now has about 7 years in recovery. He works for me, but he said he used to try to tell us how to run our program. You know how there's always those that want to tell you what the rules should really be and why do you have it like that? Because it should be like this, and that's they want to run it. And he said, "Thank you for not listening to me." He said, you never took one of my suggestions." And I said, "No, I didn't." I said, "But I did hear you." Um, but you got those that want to do that, but they don't really know, and you have to stand by your own knowledge and your own skill set and your own gut more than anything else because they can kind of talk us into just about anything. I mean, you don't get much by me, but I've had people who said, "Okay, no, drop me. I'm good. I'm good," to the point where I was like, "Well, maybe I'm wrong about this." And sure enough, you drop them and they're dirty, but they lie right up to the end. So, we are the ones that have to we have to get a handle on things and run the show and not let them run it. So, yeah, it'll be fine once you put your foot down with those women. Have some of
Well,
them,
and
have some of them
can
been
I,
there a long time?
they've been there 4 months.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So a decent amount of time.
Mhm.
The problem that I think that's the hesitancy and the reluctancy is also, I think, going hand in hand with the changes that have been going on. Me kind of stepping into the role of, they were used to somebody else, right? And now it's me. And now I'm doing interviews tomorrow to fill the position. So there's a lot of change going on. But I think the idea of, when the new house manager starts, hopefully we find somebody tomorrow and they start, August 1st. We can just put that into, start implementing that, because I think it's very important. And as far as what you said about going with your gut, absolutely, because I don't think mine's ever been wrong, but
Right.
people they'll try to gaslight you,
Yes.
and and it's but
Yeah.
that's just part of all of it. So
Are you going to supervise this person that you're hiring?
I will not be, I guess I'm not on an org chart supervising, but they'll be part of my team, and I will be a point of contact for them.
So I just want to say this, and just, give it thought. If you're having a hard time setting that rule, your new person's going to have a harder time setting that rule. So it would be behooving to you to set that rule before you bring your new person in. And because they're going to give her a hard time, whoever that is. If they're giving you the hard, say, I don't want to do it, and you've been around and you're experienced, I mean, they're going to make it harder on her. So that's just my clean house now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And just
No, I
clean the
agree
house
with you.
now. And yeah, that's
Yep.
just my 2 cents. But
No.
One best practice I found as a previous operator is especially if something's going to be changed, is put it in writing, bring it up at a house meeting, and just say, hey, as of such and such a date, moving forward, this is the way it's going to be done. This is the expectation, so that they know. If you're going to be remaining in the program, this is the expectation. If you don't want to do that, I understand. So you have time to find someplace else. But for those that are going to be remaining in the program as of August 1st, this is taking effect. And so, but once they get established in the community too, there's people that will pick them up to go to a meeting, so they can get resources, and that's going to help them move forward and help them with their independence even more. So it's kind of like a security blanket, or I can stay here in my little cocoon
how many of you women, how many have women houses who are on here right now? Like, I'm just curious because are your women's numbers down? Are the beds down? Yes. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that because they are all over the state. And I think that's something we need to talk about. Because how does that frame decisions we make as well? Because you may have, and I'm not saying this is your situation, Kate, I'm just saying this happens. You might have 4 women in a bed, but you have an 8-bed house. You don't want to lose the 4 you have. You know what I mean? So I know that's a problem. And how do we fix that problem? What's the solution to that? I mean, who else? Is there anybody else? Do we still have Paula's house on here? Did she say anything about their houses being low on numbers?
no, they have the one large facility, women's children's facility.
Yeah, I was just wondering if they're full.
Sean, Brandy, do you have women's homes?
Yes, we do. In our women's houses, like most of our beds are almost full except for our women's.
Right.
Well, this time of year, beds do go down because it's
Yeah.
nice out. When it gets cold, the beds fill up more, but there just seems to be more than normal
It is. Yeah.
open beds for women.
Not only that, I've noticed a lot more women, they're not staying as long either.
Right.
So we typically have, most of our clients do stay for a long time, but we've had a lot just leave as soon as they get here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a common problem around the state right now that we see. And it is, a lot of places, me included, shut down a woman's house and turn it into a man's house. Because if you don't have the numbers, you can't keep it open, So,
Several operators that did that.
yeah, yeah. So,
Yes, our numbers are down, and it seems like we have 2 women's houses and 2 men's houses. our men's houses are almost always at capacity, or
Yeah.
and with waiting lists sometimes.
Yes.
Where we're not. I was actually on a meeting yesterday. I don't know if anybody was on the I don't know, the TA meeting with CNIB, or I might have pronounced her name wrong, but it was about like statistics and women in housing and stuff like that. A lot of data, but I just don't know what the solution is. I know it's easier for a woman to find somewhere to stay, especially if she has children, maybe with family, maybe with a gentleman, you know. But I would just really like to see our women's numbers be as high as our men's numbers, because even at our quarterly PQI meetings, our data shows, just what I said, that, we're usually at half capacity, where the men's are at 90% capacity.
Yeah.
On average. So, and with our funding being cut, as far as another thing is extensions. We used to be able to file with our PIHP, which is North Care up here, for a monthly extension for, and those are gone.
Yeah.
So there's 60 days, and then you start paying half rent, and then our full house fees are $630. And that's a lot of money for, so that's where I'm at. So
no, but thank you for sharing that, because that's the one thing that I think that, we always feel like in this is that we're in it alone. Nobody else is having these problems because we live in this bubble of what we do every day, right? And you're putting out fires all the time. It's crisis intervention, but then you see that there's no numbers, and that's pressure on you, and it's pressure on everybody else that you don't have that house full. You know what I mean? It's like you feel it, and it's not you, it's circumstances that are happening. And I think you named one of them about their kids, but the other problem is the courts aren't as tough on women either. I mean, men will get sent to treatment and recovery in transitional housing quickly, but women don't always. They give a lot of first, second, and third chances to women. I mean, I know that myself personally. You know what I mean? So yeah, so they don't make it there, and I think it's gotten worse after COVID. Because a lot of the families couldn't take care of the children. So I think the parents were, getting sick, the grandparents, and then the moms just went in. Then the other thing is they use it as an excuse not to go to treatment, and their families buy into that, and nobody's really pushing them on the other end. And it's just very sad that our numbers, and I haven't seen them go up in over a year. So I don't know. I mean, yes, go ahead.
They're in Menominee, where our Elizabeth's house was. Bridges over there was going to open up a men's recovery house, and they got a grant, and they got all this. They collected all of this data about what was needed in the community as far as recovery housing, who needed it, why, where the gaps were, and all this. Unfortunately, Bridges is kind of no more. They're selling the building. They laid off a bunch of people. Now this is Marinette, Wisconsin, right on the border with Menominee. So I was contacted by the girl that collected all of this data, and she's like, we have all this data, but now we have nothing to use it for because we're not opening up this 55-bed men's facility, which is desperately needed in that area. I think we should have opened the women's house in Menominee as a men's house myself. That's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But so now I have all this data, and it's showing the need and everything, but it's just like, I don't know what to do with it, like, what do you, I mean,
it would depend on what the data shows about women's services too. Because if it shows low women's services around there, that's your proof. That's the, proof that you need to say, look, we probably need to transition this into a men's house, because here's the thing, you can always transition it back. It's not like you don't have the opportunity to do that, but people are quick to just close the program down instead of looking for solutions to, if they say, oh, there's no women, we'll just close this house, and no, we can make changes and then open it back up later. The data depends on what the data shows, what you can do with it.
Yeah, there's just limited resources in that area
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's limited areas for referral.
Yeah.
Point blank period, really, honestly. So I'm sorry, I don't mean to take up this whole.
No, that's okay.
What it's about. So
Yeah, no.
sharing so much.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And anybody, are you guys familiar with what's going on with the PIHPs? And are your facilities, do they work with the PIHPs, do you know? That would be Brandy.
Randy and Sean, you guys have funding through the PIHPs?
Can
And
you
David,
repeat that? I'm so sorry.
that's okay. Oh, I was wondering if you or the place that you work with or are part of the PIHP system, if they
I-
receive funding from the PIHPs.
I do believe so. I think that would be more of a Sarah question than me, and she's not on
Mhm.
here with us. But I do want to say yes because that rings a bell to me.
What's your position and where do you work?
So I'm a recovery care tech at Live Right. So I'm the intake specialist and the service coordinator here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Brenda Mack. That's
Yep.
Okay.
She back from safari?
Yes, she is.
Good.
Got a really nice tan too.
always has a nice tan.
Safari.
Glennis and Brenda always have a nice
That
Yeah.
safari sounds fun. Wish it was me.
Yeah, me too.
tan.
And Kate, are you guys funded by the PIHPs?
Yes, we are. Our primary one is North Care up here. So yeah, they fund for the first 60 days. But yeah, that's our primary PIHP up here.
Mm-hmm. And do you just have recovery housing or do you have treatment as well?
We do not offer treatment, but we have behavioral health services, MAT program, child welfare, outpatient services, adoption,
Oh,
recovery housing.
okay.
So it's Catholic Social Services of the UP. So
Okay. Catholic Charities. Mm-hmm. Well, Catholic Social Services, yes. Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. They're even feeling a little heat down here in Washington for finances. It's hitting everywhere right now. So, David, are you there still?
Yes.
So when I talked to you just a few minutes ago about, you're the one I talked about with you have the new two housing.
Yes.
unit. And you said that you got Mars certified. Was that particularly to get some PIHP dollars?
Twofold. I think that we are finding that could help us out in some of the things that we'd like to do to create a better quality service.
Yes, you are right about that.
So that was probably one of the motivating factors.
Mm-hmm. And then have you spoke to your PIHP?
No, we haven't, based on the fact that we knew that we had to, as looking through the information that they provided as far as funding, one of the things was that we needed to be MAR certified.
Yes. Okay.
Getting there. You just have some corrections to do yet, right?
Excuse me?
You have corrections to do yet, David?
Yes.
Yeah. So once those are completed and you send me the photos, I let Kayla know and she'll send you your certification letter. So
Yeah, we're just really in the process probably this weekend of sending those pictures to you
Great.
that you requested. So yeah, we are working on the list that you provided for us and the information you had given to us.
Good. Then you can go to your PIHP. Do you know what they pay per bed?
Last time I looked, it looked like it was $27 per day.
Uh-huh. How about you, Kate? Do you know?
I think it's 27 or 29,
Uh-huh.
somewhere in that region, if I'm my memory serves me correctly.
Okay. So you know that ranges, like some are 27, some are 29, some are 17. You
Yeah,
know, some
14.
14, some are less. Yes. That's one of the reasons the PIHPs are going away is because they're inconsistent. And they don't have oversight. There's not enough oversight for it. And
But they've been talking about that for years. So,
yeah,
but there definitely needs to be more oversight.
yeah,
And,
yep. I can't say that I'm sorry that it's happening. It's scary. It's scary for everybody and everybody, I mean, everybody will be okay. And, Wally sent out, uh, I guess a notice that one of his colleagues sent to his staff about the cuts coming down on with Medicaid and the other things with the funding pieces for other funding parts. And he was saying one of the things to remember at the end of his long spill, he was giving us an update on what's happening with the big, beautiful bill. He said, and it can be changed and it can be reversed. I mean, so what stands today may not be here in 2 years, so it's just like we'll all be okay. We just need to fare through this and stay positive and look for other avenues and really be creative with what we do. And be good visionaries, so that we can, change some things around and update some things and redevelop and redesign and re-implement. And
yeah, hopefully this will just help us grow
yeah,
in
yeah.
different ways. And so Mara was affected as well with the cuts. And so it just showed us you can't put all your eggs in one basket, right?
No, and I want to
Thank
speak
God the
to,
federal government gotta
yeah,
look at it different avenues.
I'd like to speak to what David said too about his, probably the primary reason was that it the policies are there through MAR and it gives you credibility and it helps you to build a better program. I have to say that I agree with that full-heartedly. And this comes from a girl who, I mean, I dug my heels in when they said we were going to have MAR certification. And why do we have to have certification? And, because I've been running this for so long and I know all the da, 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 da. And, but I had to do it. And I was one of the ones that did it because I had to. Not because I thought it would bring me better policies and practices.
He's a rebel.
That turned around for me. I mean, it was when they first came in and they said, "Oh, this needs to be done. This minute." Those are the things that, because we're in such crisis mode most of the time and putting out fires, we do let things go to the wayside. We do let the things that we feel are not life-threatening to them to go to the wayside because we don't have enough staff, we don't have enough time, and we're nonprofits. So when they come in, it's like, yes, you're right. Okay, I'll get on that. And it helps you to keep, I mean, I've always loved being accredited by CARF and the state coming in because they straighten you out, and they put you back on path and you know that you're running a good program by the time all these people leave you. So I changed my mind so much that I started working for them. Okay, that's that's a change that we can make and understand if we stay open to process. So I just wanted to add that in because I understand, Dave, what you're saying is it is important to have those practices and policies in place.
We have to hop off of here. I just want to thank all of you for your time, your input, your guidance, and I would love to reach out if I could, in the
Anytime.
future.
Absolutely. Please
all right.
do.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you all and take care.
Yep. You too.
Thanks, Kate.
All right. Bye-bye.
David, Brandy, and Sean.
How come I don't see Sean?
He doesn't have a picture up.
Oh, there he is.
Sometimes we see your face, Sean. Do you guys have funding?
Come on, Sean.
Mhm.
You forgot to just log off. You know,
Well,
David's waiting on funding.
either
Brandy,
that
you
or-
have funding?
So, we do have funding. Do you mean like funding from us ourselves, or like, I know that the county will fund for 60 days.
Yeah,
And we did have a scholarship program here. Right now, we don't have the funds for it, so
Okay.
it's down at the moment. But we will take community corrections funding, and we will take the county's funding as well.
Yeah, you
uh-huh.
guys have a few different, with her, I have an RCO. You've got like you've got that place that's kind of a donation center, right, too, where you've got the clothing and
Yeah.
you've
Yep.
got
So
some other income coming in through there.
she's got the food pantry, the clothing closet, and then the whole resource center. She has plenty of events. We had a fundraiser last night, so
Nice.
Where is this place? What's the name of it?
it's
Right.
Live Right in Roseville.
From the Brenda Mack. I think you were working with Brenda Mack, weren't you, when she was opening your RCO, Glennis?
Oh, yeah, I was. Yeah. Yep. All right. I'm gonna look that up.
Is Brenda on board yet, Kayla, with the RCO, or she still hasn't signed up?
No, not yet.
Okay. So, yep,
Okay.
another one to get on board with Mar.
Yeah.
Your RCO registered. Great. I know she's a busy lady.
She definitely is.
Okay. I wrote it down. Wally, have you worked with her?
No, with Brenda?
Yeah.
No, I've spoken to her a number of times, but I haven't worked with her directly.
And spoke to her about RCO?
Talked to her about that, yeah.
Okay.
And I've just worked with her on her recovery residences. She has several. She's also a realtor. So,
Uh-huh.
yep, she's been helpful
Been
for
to
her.
Have you been to her facility, Glennis?
RCO.
No. No?
It's an old city building, administration building, and she's got a jail down there.
What?
Yep, we do have a jail. That's where our food pantry is. If you ever want to
Okay.
come out and tour it, you guys come on out.
It's an
Okay.
old jail. Yeah.
It's very neat though.
It's
Yeah.
a one-person
Is it
jail.
cool? Yeah, that's cool.
I saw when she first got the building, there was different ideas that she had about what they were going to do there. And so then I saw it after they had their stuff going in there. It was very impressive.
It's a level 5 incarcerated. It's right after the level 4 clinical.
Huh. Yeah.
Isn't it the one we went on the video tour of? Jeff?
I was there. No, I was there physically because I was so impressed with the physical layout and what she was doing. Then I learned she was in real estate.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you're really, she has a skill set that
Yeah.
a lot of operators.
I'm just closing out this meeting and come on in. Okay. All right, thank you.
Hello, Sean. Well, Sean's a mystery.
Busy man. So, well, great. Randy, is there any questions that you have for looks like just basically the MAR team on here? Do you have any questions for us? Anything?
I do not.
No? Okay.
Not at this moment, I don't.
How long have you been with Live Right?
Almost 2 years. So August will be 2 years, but I just recently moved into the position I'm in now because Sarah was in this position and now
Okay.
she's moved up to case management. So
Nice.
I've taken over the intakes and bringing people in the homes and all that.
So do you do all the intakes like at the RCO location?
Yes. Yep.
You do.
Yep, so we do our intakes here. We also have a transportation grant, so we can go pick people up from treatment and bring them here and then drive them to the homes. And yeah, we do everything from the center.
Does the transportation funding, does that include like taking people back and forth to meetings and grocery shopping and?
Not grocery shopping. So anything that is substance use disorder related. So if it's a MAT appointment, if it's going to meetings, if they need to go to treatment, meet with their peer coach, anything like that. But we won't
Okay.
just take them to their primary care doctor for a checkup or to the grocery store, nothing like that.
Hmm.
Because Chris Pompey had something like that, recovery Uber. Is Chris still on the,
No, he's not on anymore.
Chris is gone.
Yeah, they're working on one across the state, but it'd be interesting. Maybe next time you can share with us how it's going, how they're
Yeah.
expanding. So great. Anything else, Glennis?
No, I'm good. Mm-mm.
Well, thank you for your input,
Yeah.
Brandy. We appreciate your
Thank you.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
patient
Thanks
and
for
talking
having
to
me
us
here.
about stuff. So, all right. Well, you guys have a wonderful day. And we will
Bye.
see you next month.